There it is. Got it propped up with a dry erase pen and a whole bunch of papers. And when you're gonna turn 40, you don't tell people you're thinking about it, or you're trying playing it cool that you're not thinking about it. But I think I've been thinking about it a little more often the last week or two. One reason is because my wife asked me what I wanted to do for my birthday, if I wanted to do anything, like celebrate it, and I said nothing immediately. I said she proposed like maybe having a party, and I said no, thank you, almost immediately. Just the thought of having all that attention on me makes the palms clammy and sweaty. And I know there's a time in my life when I would have liked that. I want to say when I was super young, but and a couple times when I was in high school, I thought throwing a party, quote unquote, would be cool. But I think deep down I was apprehensive and still didn't want to do that. I think this all just goes back to my general feeling that I'm just not really into doing things socially, because apparently I'm anxious and I don't know what to say in social situations if it's something that I'm not really that into. Or I was just into doing things a little bit more often. I wasn't so aware of the social surroundings, probably because I was high or drunk a good portion of that during college and whatnot, and I was trying to get more pussy back then, even though I never got a lot of gals. So yeah, and I still don't really want to do anything. I think also it's just like I don't want to have a party and have like nobody show up, because I think that would be kind of depressing, I guess. And I'm just not that close with any of my friends from back in the day anymore. I've just kind of ostracized myself into a nice little comfortable cocoon of having a family, a job, and then a passion, which is coaching volleyball. And since I coach both girls and boys, that's a good 6 months of the year where I'm involved with that. More like 7 or 8-ish, and then there's just kind of a couple months that are in between, and then you never realize how busy you can be with holidays and stuff until you have family and you have 2 sets of families to go celebrate with, and just like activities to do this summer and up until this point, from the end of the school year last year until now, has seemed very busy, and that's just, I guess, having 3 little children and getting them places during the summer, and now school, and like I alluded to a couple conversations ago, trying to take time for myself also, to work and exercise and sleep. Just doing those things, just doing an 8 and 8, that is so difficult. It is for me, for a 39-year-old dude with glasses and unkempt hair. It's pretty difficult. But that's life, and that's I guess we all decide when and where we're going to complain. And I've been trying not to complain out loud, but mostly just this video, just these little conversations. This is my little own therapy, and it's probably coming across very complaining, and I think that's okay. It's got to come out somewhere, but lately I've just been having a distaste for listening to people complain, even myself. So I've been very aware and trying to complain a lot less and be grateful for what I have. I have the ability to walk and run, which I think some people don't. Some people don't walk. And I'm trying to remind myself someday I won't be able to go for a jog, and so I want to keep doing it now. And I enjoy it too. Sometimes, not all the time, in the moment. Oh, excuse me. But after the fact, when I can sit back and think of that daily accomplishment. Today was 6 miles, 6.14 miles. Yesterday it was 8.2 miles. So the fact that I could run 2 mornings in a row before work and all that's a great accomplishment. That 8.2 miles was the longest run I've done since I had COVID like 3 weeks ago. So that's an accomplishment. And also, I'm starting to understand you don't have to tell people your accomplishments. You don't have to try and prove yourself to everybody. As long as you know what you did and what you like, that's important. I'm starting to understand. It's just, I think it's human nature. You want, what am I trying to say? You want people's approval. You'd like people to, say nice things to you or compliment you, I guess, even though I don't really like compliments. I can't really take, I don't know, probably just because I just don't think I maybe deserve it. But yeah, if somebody wants to make me cry, they should start complimenting me and telling me how good I'm doing and how thankful they are, or they love me. That'll make me leak from the eye holes pretty quickly. Don't have my mom tell me she's proud of me and she loves me and how much great I've done. That'll break me down. I'm sure there's something to that also. Oh gosh. So I'm driving to Buenaventura, just a couple miles off the 126 for another league match. And as I was walking to the car, I just figured out last week we played 2 5-setters. We won. We beat the rival, and we almost beat the first place team. We literally lost 19-21 in the 5th. It was a pretty incredible match. That I don't think we had much business being in, but those kids figured it out. They grinded their butts off, and then they went to a tournament the following day after that second 5-setter. They woke up like 10 hours later and drove to a tournament like 4.5 hours away, and they went and played like another 5 matches, only 2 of 3s, but and they lost all of them, but they played another 10 sets. So this team played 20 sets collectively last week. That's a lot of volleyball. So that was, I'm tired. Yeah, I got up at 5 this morning and up like 4 in the morning before. And I've just been in that cycle where my body's just waking me up much earlier now. And gosh, if I could get up even earlier, if I could slowly run, not slowly, but like I want to do a long run like every day. I just don't ever seem to have like enough time, I feel like. And then I think about dropping the kids off and then going to the beach and then doing a long run, but then that's cutting into work day, and just always seem to have this like worry that I just want to get it done quicker than like go for a long one and enjoy. I don't know. There's just so much guilt. It seems like when you're working out, when you technically should be working, right? Y'all know what I mean? mean, it's fine if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning, but that is a difficult thing to do, is to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be dark the entire time. Like, today was awesome because I woke up a little bit later, and I almost didn't pull the trigger, but I got moving, and then I think I got on the road by 5:23, and so I'd say 2/3 of my run was in the dark towards the sun coming up, and then the last third was right as the sun was rising, and it was not dusk, but the opposite. It was, I don't know, like sunrise or whatever, and it was beautiful. And that's one thing I realized I really love about the summer is it starts to get light at 5:15, 5:20 in the morning sometimes. So if you're out by like 5:30, you're running in almost the daylight. And now we're going to get to a point where it's going to start getting dark here pretty soon at like 5:30. But so today's sunrise was around 6-ish today. But shoot, if I want to go for a long run, then I gotta be like on the road running at like 4 or something. And then even then I'm kind of debating with myself as the run's going on, like I just kind of want to get it done and then showered and then get everything going. I've been working a lot too. Now that I can work from home a considerable amount, I've been utilizing that, and it's been great. Like, I've worked like since last Thursday. It's Tuesday now. I think I've worked, including today, I think I've worked like almost 38 hours. And I worked like 8 hours over the weekend, and then I just I worked on the weekend, and I feel like I need more money for all this family shit. I don't think so. I know I do. And that's also been kind of screwing with my head, is that I'm in a job where I can keep working and then I can get overtime, but at some point I'll probably finish all the work I'm doing, and then I'm just kind of topped out, and there's just no motivation other than financially getting money. So that's been kind of ping-ponging around in my head also. As I'm turning 40, you are reflecting on what you thought you might be doing when you turn 40, how old 40 used to look or seem, and once again, which I've stated numerous times, like I didn't think that the maturity level of a 40-year-old would feel like this. I don't feel like I've got all my ducks in a row at all. I just feel like a grown little kid who's probably beholden to his parents for far too much, and I don't feel like a man, just a man boy. And I guess, I don't know, I just question myself a lot, like, where did I miss the boat? What am I missing? Like, what didn't I do? What steps did I not take where I just missed the boat on everything, it seems like? Where I'm just a paycheck to paycheck worker, which on one hand is fine. It's anybody would kill to have my situation, my location, and what I have. I understand that. But it's hard to feel good about taking so much. I guess I'm just wondering, have I given back as much as I've taken? And just saying that out loud, I know the answer is no. So how do I just like free myself from all this, I guess, what, self-loathing or like guilt or personal, I don't know. That's just kind of, and I think this is all, it's all because I'm changing the number in that's first when I tell people. When I was 29, I was taking a shit at the house that I rented, which was one street away from where my in-laws live now. When I was 29, I was taking a shit in the house that I rented, and I got a phone call. And at that time in my life, I had told myself, I don't remember why, but I was just going to start saying yes to every opportunity that came by. And so wouldn't you know, an opportunity in that phone call was I got offered a long-term subbing position at one of the high schools in town, and it was a rival high school. It ended up being great. It was fine. But yeah, I was taking a shit in the house that I was renting, and I got offered a long-term teach for, which ended up being almost an entire quarter. So like 8 or 9 weeks. And at that time I was a PE teacher 3 days a week, and I was a substitute teacher 2 days a week. I was coaching high school volleyball, and I was coaching high school volleyball, girls and boys. So in the fall and the spring. When I got this call, it was the start of of spring. Yeah, spring. Because it was during boys volleyball season. And I was helping coach a club team at the same time too. Now I remember. Yeah, I had like 4 jobs at once. PE, substituting, high school volleyball, club volleyball. And a few times during those days, all 4 of them, I would hit all 4 of them in one day. I would do the high school periods, go do a couple hours of PE, do both practices or matches, and drag my ass back to my house like between 9 and 10 o'clock at night, trying to figure out what I was going to quote unquote teach the kids the next day. And by teach, I mean like stand in front of kids that knew more about the subject than I did, which has always been a fear of mine. I've noticed teaching and coaching is, I don't like that feeling of thinking that you're not prepared and you're not knowledgeable about the subject matter that you're teaching or coaching about. Less so in volleyball. I've got some years under my belt. I feel pretty confident about what I know about the sport now. Teaching it, that's a different story, but I've gotten better over the years. But yeah, I just said yes to that opportunity, and it was consistent. I know that it made my mom happy to know that I was teaching, and then that opportunity turned into I got a full-time, not a full-time, well, it was full-time. It got another long-term teaching job at my high school the following year, and I think it was only supposed to be for a semester, and then it ended up turning into the entire school year. So for one school year in 2013-2014, I taught English to freshmen and sophomores, and I also taught a program called AVID, and then I coached girls JV volleyball, and then that was actually ended up being the first year that I got the job as a boys varsity coach. And I believe I met my wife that summer also. Yeah, I met her that summer, and then I think I broke up with her for a couple months, just saying I was too busy, which I was, now that I think about it. And then we got back together around Christmas time or something. But shoot, now that I think about it, 2013, 2014, those were pretty big years for me for just, I guess, having responsibility. But I think where I was going with all this was, I don't think at any point during those years did I feel adultish or like mature. Like I said, I've always felt like a little elementary school kid who viewed sixth graders as so mature and cool, and then when I was a sixth grader, I was appalled that it's me still. It's just me. This is it. Were sixth graders just themselves, just a little bit bigger in physical stature? And I guess the answer is yes. Or I don't even know. Maybe I didn't read enough books. But that was like 10 years ago, when I was taking a shit in the house that I was renting. And maybe just saying yes, like, started the snowball of all this stuff. I don't know. And maybe you're not meant to question these things. Maybe you're just supposed to say yes or say no and just keep it moving. I do know that I'm trying to be more appreciative of what I have. But I'm just so ready to complain and be lazy, and I just don't know how people do it. I don't know how you keep your house clean, keep your yard clean, if you're a cheapskate. Like, that's probably my problem. I don't spend enough money. But I could just hire a gardener, right? For a mow and blow a couple times a month. Then I just enjoy my privacy. Like, I don't want people at my house. Probably so much to the extent that I don't have any friends come over, but our house is, maybe that's why we keep our house so messy, as an excuse to not like invite people over. But I like to get it nicer and dialed in, and then I guess have the guts to have people over, have my daughters feel like they can have friends over, and just do fun shit like that. No, I don't want to do that stuff. And I don't really care to try and make any connections with other people, other than only if it would like help my daughter make some friends. But and I know I go back and forth on this, not back and forth, but I've discussed this many times that I want to create more opportunities for my kids, and model a healthy social lifestyle. But also, I don't. I have volleyball, and I've got, my wife and I, we try and fuck like a couple times every week. Who knows if that ever, it's nowhere near consistent. Stories about being married are true. But gosh, between trying to have that quality time and the quality time with your kids, and then have some time to yourself, where's the time to go and do stuff with your friends? And obviously it's there. I'm just being a lazy prick and not trying to carve it out. Just the thought of making plans and doing stuff and paying for it doesn't appeal to me as much as staying home and chilling. Maybe if I had more money, that would be different. But I also realize you're not supposed to work all day, every day. And I'm not even coming close to being a workaholic, but like working 8 or 10 hours and having practice or a match one day, it's like a long day, dude. And if you got a workout in there and you try to spend some time with your kids, where's the time for all the other stuff? Or is this just a phase when your kids are little, you just don't do stuff with other people? I don't know. I think the nice thing is I keep such a small bubble that the moments when I get, like today, I was so excited for this, to drive to Ventura for a match, and I guess just have some alone time with myself so I could think or talk to myself and have my iPhone film it and then go sit and watch and coach and do something that I love. And I guess so. Yeah. I didn't know though. And I wasn't this into volleyball when I was a player, or when I was in college. When I was a player, I then started smoking weed and drinking and partying and trying to get tail, and that's pretty common of teenagers. Your hormones are developing. I skated and I definitely ran with my group. We all were trying to do the same thing, and obviously having friends is a lot easier when you're younger because there's the responsibility is to each other instead of a wife and children. I think I can understand that. But now now I have people relying on me, and I'm not even the breadwinner in my family. That's how much of a not man I am. My mom, my wife. She has been at her job for a while, and she makes great money, more than I, which I'm fine with. I don't care. I could care less. I could care less because I don't really like my job that much, so it's okay. I'm basically having a job right now because I know you're supposed to. You're supposed to. If you're middle class, white male, you cannot be a deadbeat. Don't get me wrong. I've considered it. I've considered just quitting job, only taking care of house and children, coaching, and making that whopping $800 a year. But that's not feasible. You can't do that. You can't just be a complete deadbeat. I mean, I know people do, but I don't think I have enough balls to go on EBT and be a deadbeat and have children and then deal with the shame of, you'd have to tell people that you're not working, then you'd have to explain to them why. And I would say, because I don't want to. And they would say, whoa, cool, but really they'd be like, what a loser. And that's just not the way things go. And I've been trying to morph my situation into taking care of my work, but then also having the day to have freedom. But I don't know. It's hard to do all that and sleep. That's like I discussed earlier. That's probably what did me in and why I got COVID was the sleep lapsed, the hydration lapsed, and I drank too many beers, and I worked myself into exhaustion, and my body just said, you need to take a break, and taking a break means you're gonna have a pounding migraine headache, and you're gonna sweat for 2.5 days, and it's not gonna be as great as had you been hydrating and sleeping. But last night, I think I went to bed at 11:30 or midnight, and then I was back up around 5. And then back up, I mean, I'm sleeping for an hour and a half, waking up tossing and turning, taking a piss, putting a new podcast on or something. So was 5 hours of interrupted sleep. So much that there was a day a few weeks ago where I did sleep close to 8 hours, and it definitely felt different. It felt better. I feel like I probably went to bed like 8-ish or 9-ish and slept until about 5 or 6. And hopefully I went for a run after that 8 hours. But man, just 8 hours of sleep takes some planning. Like on paper, if I didn't go running in the morning, I could go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 7. That would be 8 hours. Or 10 to 6. But how am I going to do all that if the one thing I want to do most each day is spend some time with my kids and my wife, and then coach volleyball, which happens at 2:30 in the afternoon, or the matches are late at night, so those aren't as big of deals. But and the answer is you just figure it out. You do it. And I don't. Yeah. I could just go straight to sleep after I put the kids to bed, or after my wife puts the kid to bed. I just go to sleep. I'd be a 39-year-old dude that goes to sleep at 8 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. And that's a hard thing to do, especially because I'm engaged all day. Like my little pop-up on my phone gave me the weekly report, and it said I had an average of 13 and a half hours of screen time per day, which is pretty much almost the entire time I'm awake, really. And I'm sure it's not 16, because when I'm at work, sometimes I charge my phone and I'll just use the computer and listen to something. But I'm like to a point where I'm always listening to podcasts or movies or music pretty much day in and day out, unless I'm in practice or a match, or we're eating dinner, or that's pretty much it. Or I'm doing this. So this wouldn't count as screen time, but I'm still using my phone for something. And I just kind of fell into this chasm of just, let's say, it being like addicted to my phone. And when I was out in camping and my phone broke, I did not have that, and it was dark, and I was like silently having a meltdown because I had to try to go to sleep in a foreign place, with the whole family around me, and I just had to try and lay there and sleep and be with my own thoughts. And I make a joke that I'm always engaged with my phone, listening and watching and hearing, because I don't want to be alone with my own thoughts. But it's all too true. Just, I don't feel super accomplished yet, and I don't feel like I'm like cool. and lately I've been like searching for like stories and podcasts where people talk about their struggles and their like depressed times and when they hit rock bottom, and like that's gonna make me feel better. Or maybe I'm just looking to see that everyone's human and that they all struggle. I'm not even sure what I'm complaining about or struggling with now, but it's, I don't know if makes me think if I was always like this, or I was just so involved with soccer for so long, and then volleyball, and then even in college I had an iPod. I was in college from 2002 to 2008, and I had an iPod, and I had like a Discman and I would listen to music on the way to class, to and from, and smoke cigarettes to and from class. Assuming as a way to, so I, excuse me, didn't have to talk to people. It was raining one year. It was freshman year of college because I was on campus and I was smoking a cigarette under the eaves, and some hot chick, her name was Anne, came up to me, and then she bummed a cigarette from me, and I obviously didn't have my headphones in, and I was forced to talk to her, and it went okay. And then, yeah, I think I would make a big deal to try and talk to her every time I saw her also. Did I miss I did not. That's another thing. I'm pretty absent-minded sometimes. Traffic. She was super skinny, little blonde chick with small titties, and she was cute though, but I'm sure she was getting dicked down by some ginormous dudes. And then I saw her super hammied in the halls like one time with her friends. Like, freshman year is so odd. I'm glad I did it though. What was the point of this story? I don't even know. Maybe we smoked a bowl together one single time, but I was such a Jew then. She probably asked, and I said I didn't have any, so I could conserve my hits for later. And why did I? Oh, because I talked to a hot chick, and that because of cigarettes. And then one time I tried to bum a cigarette off another hot chick, and I used the term fraude, because people used to say they used to call cigarettes fraudes. I said, "Can I bum a fraude?" And she laughed at me because she didn't know what the word meant, and she didn't give me a cigarette. It's nice. I haven't thought about that in a while. Now I've been thinking about college. I've been trying not to think about college as much because my college roommate, my buddy from high school, he overdosed and died like 4 or 5 months ago. No, longer than that. It was like during volleyball season last year. No, that's about right. Yeah, I was listening to like our favorite band from back then. He and I, we went to so many concerts together with our other friends down there, but he and I, we went to so many concerts down in San Diego, and I was listening to a playlist of the band, and I started to cry and well up, and I like haven't been able to listen to that since then, and I don't know, I guess more time to grieve. Not that I had seen him in a long time. I think the last time I saw him was, we didn't even like hang out or anything. I just literally saw him in a car like during my coaching years, and he was definitely looked and was acting super high. He ended up being I think he was addicted to everything, but he was really got into heroin, and it took his entire life and soul, and to the point where he was, I heard, living on Skid Row, doing full on like heroin heroin lifestyle in Skid Row. And movies glamorize it so much. But then it's just all too real. When someone you know does it, then they pass away. Or maybe that's just another thing. When people who you went to school with start passing away, it's sad, but you just forget, like, this vessel has limitations. And I remember that being a huge reason why when the pandy hit, that I started running a lot, just because I wanted to be healthy, so my body would be equipped to fight off this virus. It's just a regular flu virus or cold or whatever, but never had we ever thought that, it was just that. It seemed to be getting people that were overweight and older and out of shape, even though I heard reports of, it was taking CrossFit people and whatnot, and people that are in perfect health, but who knows what other little small medical issues they had also. I don't know. But I remember I ripped off like 50 days in a row. I had found a version of Goggins' book that I was listening to, and that got me super motivated, and it just made me feel good to have something to look forward to every morning, which the running. And then there was so much time, because there was so much not work going on, that I could I was like weeding like my front yard and doing all that, and I was afforded the time to do this stuff because I wasn't getting a full 8 hours. Like I was stretching just to get like 4 hours, and I was staying home one day a week, and it was a little tough there for a couple months, but it gave me time to. And then it happened in March, and then it was that summer, and then I was, it gets light so early. I was waking up really early, and it was already sun out, and I was going on, I was doing 50-mile weeks. I was doing 4 miles on Sunday, and then each day that passed, I would do 5, and then 6, 7, 8, and then end with a 10-miler on Saturday, and that was so fun. And I got a great pair of shoes, and it was all fun. I don't know how I ended up out here. Just a full ramble stream of consciousness. Very, very full ramble today. Dang, what are you talking about? Oh, just being healthy, people passing away and stuff. I've also learned that if I tucker myself out, I get exercise, I'm more apt to sit and work. I'm be okay with that, and then I don't have that like hanging over my head, which is why I love running in the morning. And then I started intermittent fasting, which I've been okay at. Like I'd say I probably hit it maybe 4 days a week. Well, like last night I didn't. I was making fucking tacos at like 11 p.m. So it's just frustrating, because then you wake up and you got diarrhea in the morning, and then you try and take a jog. And that's the most difficult thing for me, is just like not eating everything I want. I can't afford to eat everything I want. Literally, it's expensive. Like today, all day I was thinking about what I was gonna eat when I got down here. Should I eat when I get down here, or should I fast the entire time and then eat the food that I made? I left a burrito that I made last night at work. I did choke a salad down and had a couple honey roasted peanuts. And I'm trying not to eat as much sugar, but then it's sugar, so obviously it's delicious. What are we supposed to do? How can you just be happy eating a piece of fish and some rice every day? Which I guess is that's all they have available to them. They don't have the luxury of having all the good shit all the time. The good shit, meaning the artificial shit. McDonald's. I don't know. But yeah, I heard someone say they could eat. They don't ever get full, which is an odd thing to say. But honestly, like I can get down with that. I can get down with that. I don't really get full sometimes. I could eat and eat and eat, especially if I was like drunk or I was high. I could eat a lot. I just love taste. But then you don't like being a fat ass or seeing yourself in the mirror that way, or just having your rolls flop over when you sit a certain way. And I'm not considered a fat dude, but I'm not considered a skinny dude. I'm definitely skinny fat for sure. And I don't know. I think I've always felt like I just don't like the way that I look, and I guarantee it. But then, you know, there's people worse off that are not as healthy as I. Who says I'm healthy, but I'm just going around in this chaotic carousel of just like worry for nothing in my own brainsicle, like all the time, with no real trying to like come up with any real solution to just day by day. Some days I fast, some days I don't. Some days I can figure it out and not eat sugar, and most days I don't. I'll break down at the worst possible time, which is the end of the day, which, you know, you've made it like all day, and then you break down and you eat a granola bar and a chocolate granola bar and then all this other stuff. It makes no sense. It makes sense that it makes no sense. It's so frustrating too. And then you just tell yourself, you only live once, so you might as well just get that burrito or those tacos, and then you get them, and then you pretty much regret it later on. 2 pizza places right next to each other. Some serious competition going on here. Subwizzle. I just don't know. I know I coined this one thoughts, but I gotta be honest, I've been thinking a lot lately. A lot. Maybe too much. I don't think too much, but I don't know. Sometimes, man, I don't know what I'm gonna eat. Okay.